Hello, welcome to All-Type. We're going to go over a little safe use and operation training class on the X-Driver bolting system. To start this off today, we're going to start off with your hydraulic torque wrench pump. In this case, it's an electric over hydraulic pump. It has a 10,000 PSI gauge on it. It has a 4-port equal pressure manifold. A pressure regulator, which is right here, is how you set your torque, and a remote control pendant. The first things we're going to go over with the pump is it's in its operation. Before you even get started with any of this, you need to make sure that all your cords are not frayed or bent or cracked. And if you just go and inspect these things looking for cracks and kinks or exposed wires, it will keep electrical hazards away. The power cord that's on the back of this should be securely fitted underneath the electrical box in the back. Make sure that it's not cut or has abrasions in any way, that the plug is attached firmly to it. And if you cannot plug this power cord into the wall directly and you have to use an extension cord, make sure you use the shortest, fattest extension cord that you possibly can. Make sure it is of equal size or larger than the one that's connected to the pump when you plug it in. You'll see the oil capacity in the sight glass here. There is a line that goes right across the top. That will tell you that your oil is full. If your oil is milky, if it's white, or it needs to be changed out, there's a drain plug in the front. You can drain the oil out. It takes 2 gallons of oil. This is red. It's our specific oil. It is not transmission fluid. If you have to add oil to one of these pumps, you need a grade 46 non-foaming oil. You want to, before a job, to make sure that you have enough oil in here so that the heat can dissipate in the oil and your pump won't overheat. When utilizing this setup, you're going to hook up your hoses to the pump. The reason why there are 4 outlets here is because on large flanges, people will utilize 4 wrenches in what's called a quadritorque system. Oil will flow out of this equal port manifold to the tool that's easiest to turn, which will level out a flange and draw it down even, level, and parallel on the first shot. If you're only using 1 wrench, you can hook up to any one of these couplers. You cannot hook it up wrong. The hoses only hook up in one direction. You've got some coupler dust covers on here that will protect the threads and keep things clean, but you can hook your hose up to any one of these fittings. It is an equal port manifold. The gauge that's on here, you want to verify that the gauge has a calibration sticker on it and that it is within calibration so that we know what we're doing is accurate to the best of our ability. If you look on this gauge, it goes 0 to 10,000 PSI. It reads on the outer mark of the gauge. There's a certain number of PSI is going to equal a certain amount of foot-pounds, which we'll go over here in a minute. To set the torque on your pump, you're going to need to know the desired amount of PSI that you want the pump to put out, which will give it enough torque output on your tool. You set the torque by this pressure regulator right here. So I'm going to turn this on and show you how this sets. If you back this off, your pressure comes down. So on the remote control itself, you got an on and off switch. It'll turn it on. And then you got an advance button. Every time you hit the advance button, it's trying to put fluid out of the male coupler into the tool to make it function. You can sit there all day long with it just running. It's not going to do anything. But when you push the button down to advance the pressure coming out, that's when your tool is going to start to torque. So let's say I need 5,000 PSI is the desired pressure that I want. I'm going to turn the pump on, I'm going to hold the button down, and I'm going to set the pressure. All I'm doing is adjusting it straight up. Once I've set the pressure, I take this nerve lock nut and turn it down to keep this from vibrating loose. Once the torque is set on your pump, you no longer even need to mess with it. This pump is self-contained. The only thing you need to do is make sure that your couplers are in good condition, that you have enough oil, and that the power source that you're using is equal to or greater than this power cord. It takes a 20 amp circuit, and you should be ready to go with the pump.